everyone, it's Timah and welcome back to my channel, Cooking for Health with Timah. And today I'm going to be showing you how to prepare my Spelt chickpea buns. A few things that you want to go ahead and have prepared or just have available. I use these little rings for one type of the bin that I put inside of the preview video, letting you know what was to come. So this one is for like when I do like the thin buns. This one is maybe about an inch, 3/4 of an inch to an inch deep. However, if you want to make something that's going to be a little bit higher, then what you want to do is make a ring like this out of aluminum foil, and you'll line it with parchment paper. So the parchment paper will be up against your bun. So you'll take your parchment paper and it'll be on the inside just like this. Okay, and then you sit that inside of your tray. So however many buns that you want to make, that's how many of these rings that you'll be making, and you'll sit it inside of the dish that you'll be using. So you're going to have to get your aluminum foil. These are like the pre-cut sheets, because I find that these are actually long enough for what I'm gonna be using them for. And if you have like one of those 3-inch spring lock dishes, then get one of those and let that be your guide for your measurement. Now when you're folding this around, you're gonna tuck it in. So you're gonna tuck it in like so. There you go. So it's all tucked. Now you have your circle, and then you put it inside the spring lock disc just to adjust for the size. Or if the size that you want is good, there you go. So you want to have all those prepared. Alright. Next up, this is my chickpea flour and my chickpea water. And then I also had a little agave inside of here. Now, the interesting thing with this is that this was like some pancake batter that I had, and I let it sit inside of the refrigerator. It sat in my refrigerator for maybe no, actually it didn't sit inside my refrigerator. It sat out on the counter for like maybe about 4 or 5 hours, and it got the consistency of what my curd would be like. And so I tried it and I liked what it did for me. I'll show you a picture of what the chickpea water and the garbanzo flour with the agave did, how it started to look like my my curd, my yogurt curd. Let me show you this. So there it is. This is what the chickpea water and the aquafaba did, and it took like a couple of hours sitting out. And I guess, you know, it was really warm though. It's really warm, and this is actually what allowed my bread to get a nice rise. So, you know, when you let your bread dough sit and rise in a warm place for about an hour, hour and a half, you know, that's actually a fermentation process. So whether you're using yeast or if you're using the Perrier, when you're letting that sit for the hour or whatever the case may be, in a warm place so that it can rise, or rather so that it can leaven, you're actually building up a fermentation process. Pretty much, if you're using Perrier water, you're still building up a little bit of yeast inside of your bread to allow it to rise. That heat is going to produce a carbon so that it can rise, so that it can puff up. The only other thing that you can use that will not be yeast would be baking soda. That's going to be something that you can use so that you wouldn't have to let it sit for a while. And you can use baking soda with a little bit of coconut vinegar. Now what I'm going to show you, and if your bread does not rise, you're going to have a very dense, heavy, disagreeable loaf or buns. You're just not going to like it. You're not going to like what it's going to turn out like. So your bread has to rise. You have to have something inside of it that's going to let it rise. It's interesting using the Perrier water. Perrier water doesn't really get a rise. Okay, beer would do it a whole lot better than Perrier water, although Perrier water is acidic. Beer is more acidic, but beer would do a better. No, I'm not saying use beer. Stop it. I'm not saying use beer. I'm just giving an example. But you might want to use something in addition to the Perrier water if you want to have a moist bread. We're gonna get together all of our ingredients so that we can put our bread together. And as a matter of fact, this is gonna be just a little tester for you all, so that you won't mess up a lot of your flour. So you're only gonna be working with like 2 cups of flour. Okay, it's gonna be 2 cups of flour. You're gonna need some whole coconut milk. Now this is mine. This is what I have left. You probably can't see it too good, but this is the coconut milk that I have left over from what I make. This is whole coconut milk, so you still got the oil, you got all the fats and everything inside of here that you're gonna need to have that yummy goodness for your bread. Don't substitute it, not even with hemp milk, because hemp milk is not a full fat, not like coconut milk. The only other milk that would be like a full fat would actually be almond milk. And now however, if you're following Dr. Sebi's Food Guide recommendations, almond milk is not on the list. But if you're making your own coconut milk, it is. Right? So this is what I use. And you're going to need you some grapeseed oil. Then of course you're going to need your spelt flour, your chickpea flour, your aquafaba, and I will have the ingredients posted either on this side or on that side of the screen. And it will not be down there in the description box. No, I never put ingredients down there inside of the description box. So I look there or I look there. Alright, let's get into it. So the very first thing that I'm going to do is warm up my coconut milk. And whenever you're working with bread, you always want your liquids to be warm. Never should it be boiling, but you do want it to be warm. It should be lukewarm. So you're going to warm it up on your eye, and then you're going to also put in, now after it's warm, you're going to put in your chickpea water mix, and then you'll put, yeah, you don't need anything else inside of there. Okay. Next. So my flour is already sifted, and I put half of it inside of a bowl, and then I'm going to leave a well in it. And Then I'm going to warm up my milk and put that inside of here. And then I also have my my chickpea mix that's going to go inside of the milk that's going to be warmed up. Inside of my put it inside of my warm coconut milk. And so I'm just going to let that sit, and I'm going to go over to my dry. Alright, so all of my dry mix is inside of my flour. And now I'm just going to make a well in the center of it because I'm going to pour in the wet mix. Alright, so now I'm about to pour all of my liquid down into my flour. There we go. Then we're going to just mix this all in. And remember, this is just half of the flour, but that's all of the liquid. And we're going to mix that in really good. Here's the consistency that you're looking for. And this again is just half. So you want to make sure all your flour is blended in there really good. And now I'm going to go ahead and put in the remaining flour. And then I will get all that blended in. And I'll show you what that's supposed to look like. Alright. So we're just going to knead all this in. Actually, I can pretty much do this with my hands now. Just want to get all this in. And it may be a little bit sticky. And so if it is, that's what you'll use your scraper for, to help you pick your dough up off the counter. So now I'm just going to stretch, and fold over. Stretch, 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 fold over. As a matter of fact, I want to get some of this extra dough out of the way. Now I'm going to let this sit and rest inside of the container. The container is going to be lightly oiled so that, you know, it won't start sticking to any of the sides. And we want it to come out really easy. Alright, so I have my dough, and it's been sitting. So we're going to do another kneading. So let's just remove it from its container. So we're going to be stretching and pulling the dough. So let's just get it all out of there. Alright, so, and this is what, you know, this is, we want this consistency. Alright, so we're gonna stretch, pull, stretch, pull, stretch, pull, stretch, pull, stretch, pull, stretch, pull, stretch, pull. You fold it over on it, so I should be saying stretch, pull, fold. We're not going to keep this up because spelt doesn't really need to be kneaded that much. You want to overwork it. But now that I have it inside of a ball shape, I am going to cut it in half. Then I'm going to cut it in half again. And then I'll take this other part and cut it in half. Alright, so now we're going to fold these. Fold them in on themselves. There's one. Now we're going to do the last one. Now I'm going to let these sit on the countertop. I'm going to cover them over with the saran wrap. Just let them rest and see if you can get them to rise just a little bit more. If you use the baking soda, you don't need to let this rise. Baking soda is gonna do its own thing with the Perrier water, so you won't even need to let it sit for any time. But I just like the consistency of using the what I'm using here. Right, so this is gonna sit, and then I'll come back. We're just gonna take a little water and roll over at the top. This is gonna help the onion flakes stick to it. And time for the onion flakes. There we go. So I'm going to let that sit for about 20 minutes because it's still resting, and then it'll go into the oven. Alright, so let's brush it over a little bit more. Brush this over. And now I have to get the onion. Alright, so just going to put the onion right over the top, and there it is. Now I'm going to cover this over. This is inside of my steamer. There we go. Here are the buns that just came out of the oven, and here we go. Use so little of flour to make this dough as a tester for you guys. I have to take it out of the green, out of the yellow ring, and use the foil, and so now it's doing exactly what I wanted to do. So now it's actually rising up, and then once this has been on here for an additional 15 minutes, then I'm going to take this off. I'm going to take it out of the ring, and then I'll show you what it's going to look like, and then it's going to go into the oven for a few minutes. Alrighty, so I've taken it out, and let's remove the foil and the parchment. Right, so it's set up rather nicely, and so now This is going to go into the oven. It's been about 10 minutes now, and look at there. It's about ready to come on out. And here you go. You have your regular bun, and then you also have like a higher sitting bun. Hope you like it. Enjoy. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask.